Picture this, you're 40, maybe 55 or 62. Each sunrise you stumble to work, scroll through meals, exchange hollow pleasantries, but beneath the routine a cold truth gnaws. You aren't truly living. You're surviving barely. You have the house, the paycheck, the relationship, yet something vital is missing. Days blur into weeks, and one morning you catch your reflection. Tired eyes, slumped posture, a stranger wearing your face. A quiet voice asks, "Where did I disappear?" This isn't just modern burnout. 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, scribbled in his private journal, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Seneca, a billionaire playwright, admitted he struggled daily with rage, envy, and the dread of wasted years. Epictetus, born a crippled slave, discovered that true freedom isn't owning more, it's needing less. Freedom begins when you stop begging the world for permission. 3 men, 3 prisons, 1 key. If your thinking is fractured, start with your thoughts. If your flesh is weak, start with your flesh. If your spirit feels numb, start with your spirit. 3 brutal edicts, 3 levels of resurrection. By the end of this video, you'll have a battle plan to rebuild from the inside out, but only if you're willing to bleed a little discipline. Let's march. Rule 1. Forge the mind. Marcus Aurelius also wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Yet today we've handed that power to algorithms, outrage cycles, and the highlight reels of strangers. Your inner voice has been drowned out by digital noise, and you didn't even see the invasion coming. First, mentally detox. You cannot construct a new reality with contaminated raw materials. Just as a Ferrari runs on premium fuel, your brain requires high-grade input. Here's the challenge. For 7 consecutive mornings, spend the first 30 minutes feeding your head truth, not trash. Read 1 page of ancient philosophy. Study the biography of someone who crawled out of hell. Learn a skill that sharpens your focus. Speed reading, memory techniques, logical fallacies. Don't label it reading. Call it ammunition loading, because your mind is either a precision instrument or a crowded prison. And every scroll, every reaction, every half-conscious thought casts the vote. Second, redefine your compass. Most people chase, "I want to be happy" or "I want to be rich." The Stoics knew happiness is a side effect, not a goal. So stop asking, "What do I want to acquire?" Instead, ask, "Who am I becoming?" When you say, "I want to lose 20 pounds, you're fixated on an outcome. When you say, "I am someone who honors my body," action flows naturally from identity. That's not habit change, it's identity alchemy. Write this on a sticky note. "I am becoming." Then finish the sentence not with a future fantasy, but with a present tense choice. Transformation doesn't live tomorrow. It lives in the next decision you make. Third, shatter the invisible cage. "I can't. I'm too old. I'm not talented enough." These aren't facts. They are walls. You built brick by brick with every fearful agreement. The Stoics called this synchetathesis, the act of assenting to a lie. The moment you stop agreeing, the walls begin to crumble. Grab a notebook. Write down the 3 beliefs that strangle you. Then rewrite each as a declaration of power. "I don't have time" becomes, "I am learning to invest my hours where they matter." "I'm not smart enough" becomes, "I am acquiring the wisdom I need." 1 day at a time. "It's too late" becomes, "Every second is a fresh beginning." Each rewritten sentence is a hammer blow, each word a crack of light. Fourth, the daily mental drill. Every morning, jot down 3 thoughts that strengthen you and 3 that weaken you. Throughout the day, when a negative thought surfaces, catch it like a spy and replace it with a true counter. At night, ask yourself, did my mind serve me or sabotage me today? This isn't toxic positivity, it's mental martial arts. Calm under fire, clear in the storm. Because when you command your thoughts, you command your reality. Say this aloud, not as a quote, but as a vow. My mind is my kingdom, and I am its sovereign. From this hour, no one else holds the scepter. Rule 2. Fortify the body. Your body is not a mere accessory to your soul. It's the chariot that carries your purpose through this war. You cannot pilot a strong mind from a wrecked vessel. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every dawn. At daybreak, when you find it hard to get out of bed, remember you were born to act as a human being. He rose because discipline was his nature, not because he felt like it. First, nutrition as command. Your stomach is not a landfill. Every forkful either fortifies your potential or feeds your chains. Before you eat, pause and ask, does this bring me closer to the person I am becoming, or does it chain me to my former self? Don't obsess over dieting, aim for awareness. When you control your fork, you practice controlling your life. You don't need perfection, you need intention. Food can fuel your purpose or sedate your fire. Choose like a general chooses his supplies. Second, sleep is a strategic weapon. Seneca warned, it's not that we have a short life, but that we waste much of it. Every late night traded for one more episode, or one more scroll is a theft from tomorrow's strength. No empire was built by a sleep-deprived commander. Sleep is not laziness, it's tactical recovery. 7 to 8 hours, not as a luxury, but as a ritual of self-respect. When you rest well, your thoughts sharpen, your emotions stabilize, and your willpower reloads. Guard your sleep like a warrior guards his blade. Your future depends on how well you restore. Third movement as emotional release. Emotion crystallizes in still flesh. Anxious, walk. Angry, sprint. Lost, lift something heavy. Epictetus, though physically broken, taught, no great thing is created suddenly. Move daily, even 15 minutes. No gym, no fancy shoes. Climb stairs, do bodyweight squats, stretch, take a cold plunge. It's not the movement itself, it's the message to your own mind. I am still in command. Each act of motion, however small, is a silent declaration of sovereignty. Fourth, voluntary hardship. The Stoics practice voluntas, laboris, choosing discomfort, on purpose to grow stronger. Seneca slept on a hard floor to remind himself he could live without silk. Marcus trained in mud and blood, not palace gardens. Every time you pick the easy route, you teach yourself to break promises. Every time you choose the harder path, you build unshakable self-trust. Start tiny. 1 glass of cold water instead of soda. A cold shower for 30 seconds. Walk the last mile home. Eat vegetables before dessert. Tiny choices compounded become an unbreakable spine. Write this not as motivation, but as devotion. My body is my temple, and I am its loyal guardian. Now rise and act like it. Rule 3. Restore the heart. That hollow feeling, even when life looks fine on paper, is not a defect. It's a signal. Your heart has gone numb from too many walls. You built barricades to keep out pain, but those same walls lock out joy, connection, and wonder. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break. It stands firm and the raging sea grows still around it. A strong heart is not one that never hurts. It's one that stays open even after being shattered." First, listen to your silent self. Sit in a quiet room. No phone, no music, no distraction. Then ask 3 questions. 1. If I could not fail, how would I live tomorrow? 2. What am I pretending not to care about that actually keeps me awake at night? 3. When no one is watching, who am I, really? Don't flinch from the answers that make your chest tighten. That tremor is proof you're still alive. Your heart whispers before it screams. Write down what you hear. Those words are not random thoughts. They are your soul tapping on the glass. Second, unburden the past. Your heart is dragging a wagon of old luggage. Anger, guilt, regret, resentment. Those are not who you are. They are stories you've been retelling for years. Epictetus said, "It's not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them." So tonight and for the next 30 nights, write down one thing you forgive. Forgive a parent, an ex, a colleague, or forgive yourself. Not because they deserve peace, but because you do. Letting go doesn't make you weak. It makes you weightless. Forgiveness is not surrender. It's cutting the anchor rope. Third, live for something beyond yourself. A heart without purpose wanders in fog. The Stoics called it sympathia, the mutual interdependence of all souls. Marcus wrote, "What harms the hive harms the bee." You were never meant to live only for yourself. Purpose is not a buried treasure. It's something you build through action. Pay attention. When do you feel most electric? When you help someone. When you create, teach, serve, love. Those moments are compass readings. Start small. Call one lonely friend. Donate an hour. Write a note of encouragement. A heart that gives never empties. It expands. Write this and mean it. My heart beats not just to survive, but to serve and connect. Live that truth, and numbness will have nowhere to hide. The circle of rebirth. These 3 rules are not separate, they form a loop. Fix your mind and your body gets direction. Train your body and your heart gains resilience. Open your heart and your mind catches fire. The mind is your compass, the body your engine, the heart your fuel. Let one collapse and the whole machine stalls. But when all 3 move in harmony, you become unstoppable. Marcus battled anxiety. Seneca wrestled with imposter syndrome. Epictetus lost his freedom but never his inner peace. None were perfect. They were simply relentless. One choice, one step, one day. That's enough to rewrite your history. Let me tell you about someone. Call him David. At 42, he was fried. Divorce pending. Career on life support, drinking to sleep. One morning he decided to rebuild the Stoic way. First, 30 minutes of Epictetus instead of social media. Then cold showers and daily push-ups. Finally, he wrote a forgiveness letter to his father and volunteered at a homeless shelter. 6 months later, his life hadn't magically fixed itself, but he had changed. Calmer, grounded, unshakable. That's the power of these rules, not as philosophy, but as a daily practice. Transformation isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. Mind, body, heart. When they move as one, nothing can break you. Conclusion. Sharpen your mind, and you'll sharpen your existence. Strengthen your body, and you'll unchain your soul. Heal your heart, and you'll never lose your path again. You were not born to merely exist. You were born to awaken. The world has enough copies. It needs the raw, honest, powerful version of you. And once you start this path, you'll realize there's no old life to crawl back to, only a new life waiting for you to claim it. So brand this into your bones. I am the author of my own transformation. I am the warrior of my mind, the guardian of my body, and the protector of my heart. Now stand up, breathe deep, feel that quiet fire in your chest, and take your first step. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Your journey doesn't begin when the conditions are perfect. It begins when you decide to grow stronger. If this message lit a match in you, don't just watch, live it. Share this with someone who needs to wake up. Smash the like button to remind yourself of your own strength. And subscribe to Winds of Thought so we can walk this Stoic road together every week. In the comments below, write one sentence. A promise to yourself. I begin my transformation today. Because you can. Because you must. Because the world is waiting for the awakened you. Thank you for walking this path with us.